For 50 years, America's enemies have consistently feared the might of its F-15 Eagle, which has dominated the skies without challenge. Now, a new predator surfaces from its legendary lineage, the F-15EX Eagle II. This cutting-edge war machine breaks the boundaries of physics, leaving Russia and China stunned by its incredible speed, devastating firepower, and futuristic technology. Will this new bird of prey secure America's dominance for decades to come? And how will adversaries respond to a fighter that seems to defy the laws of nature? Join us as we dive into the US's new F-15EX Eagle and its physics-defying capabilities. In the late 1960s, the Cold War was in full swing, and the United States was constantly on alert for new threats from the Soviet Union. In July 1967, the Soviets unveiled a new generation of combat aircraft at an air show near Moscow. Among these new planes, one stood out as particularly impressive: the MiG-25 Foxbat. The MiG-25 was a sight to behold. It had two powerful engines, twin vertical stabilizers, and could fly faster than Mach 2. That's twice the speed of sound. This new Soviet fighter alarmed U.S. Air Force planners. They realized they needed a new aircraft that could match or beat the MiG-25 in air combat. The U.S. Air Force hadn't developed a dedicated air superiority fighter since the F-86 Sabre in the late 1940s. To address this gap, they launched a program called Fighter Experimental in December 1967. The goal was to create a fighter that could outperform any current or future Soviet aircraft in air-to-air combat. Two major aerospace companies, General Dynamics and McDonnell Douglas, were chosen to explore initial concepts for the FX program. After a year of work, the Air Force refined its requirements and asked for preliminary designs of what would become the F-15. Three companies, Fairchild Republic, McDonnell Douglas, and North American Rockwell, were awarded contracts to develop these designs in December 1968. In a move to save time and money, the Air Force made an unusual decision. Instead of having the companies build prototypes and compete in a fly-off, they awarded the final F-15 contract to McDonnell Douglas on December 23, 1969. This decision was controversial at the time, with critics arguing it might lead to delays and cost overruns. With the F-15 contract awarded to McDonnell Douglas, the development of this new fighter moved into high gear. Engineers and test pilots worked tirelessly to bring the F-15 from concept to reality, eager to see how it would perform against the Soviet threat. The F-15 Eagle took to the skies for its first flight in 1972, marking a major milestone in American aviation history. By 1976, just 4 years later, it had become a key part of the U.S. military's air arsenal. The Eagle quickly proved its worth, showing exceptional durability and versatility in various combat roles. Originally, the F-15 was designed to fly at incredibly high speeds, up to Mach 3 or 3 times the speed of sound. However, to keep production costs under control, this requirement was adjusted to Mach 2.5. Even with this change, the F-15 was still one of the fastest fighter jets in the world, capable of outrunning most threats it might face in the sky. As time went on, the Air Force recognized the need for a fighter that could not only dominate air-to-air combat, but also strike ground targets effectively. This led to the development of the F-15E Strike Eagle, which was introduced in 1988. The Strike Eagle kept the air superiority capabilities of the original F-15, but added advanced systems for ground attack, close air support, and electronic warfare. Over the years, several variants of the F-15 have been produced. The main versions include the F-15A with single-seat and F-15B with two-seat fighters, followed by the improved F-15C and F-15D models. By the early 2020s, more than 1,198 of these variants had been built. Additionally, Over 525 F-15E Strike Eagles were in service, with more expected to join the fleet. The F-15's success wasn't limited to the United States. Other countries like South Korea also ordered their own versions of the Eagle, showing its popularity and effectiveness on the global stage. As the F-15 Eagle and its variants entered service, they quickly proved their worth beyond just impressive speed and adaptability. The true test of any fighter jet lies in its performance during real-world missions and combat situations. Let's explore how the F-15's capabilities translated into combat success. At the heart of the F-15's power are its engines. The first Eagles used two Pratt & Whitney F-100 engines, each producing 25,000 pounds of thrust. To put this in perspective, that's like having the power of 25 family cars in each engine. As technology improved, so did the F-15's engines. Modern F-15s are equipped with two General Electric F-110 GE-129 afterburning turbofans, each capable of generating over 29,000 pounds of thrust. This incredible power allows the F-15 to climb quickly, reach high altitudes, and maintain supersonic speeds for extended periods. The F-15's combat capabilities go far beyond its speed and power. It can carry an impressive 20,000 pounds of weapons. That's about the weight of a large school bus. But what set the F-15 apart was its advanced radar and missile systems. It was the first fighter that could detect and attack multiple enemy targets at the same time, from distances of up to 100 miles away. This meant F-15 pilots could often defeat enemy aircraft before the other pilots even knew they were in danger. These capabilities have led to an extraordinary combat record. In air-to-air combat, F-15s have achieved over 100 victories without a single loss. That's right, no F-15 has ever been shot down by an enemy aircraft in combat. This perfect record is better than any other modern fighter jet, including famous planes like the F-16 and F-14 Tomcat. The F-15's success in combat has made it a legend in the world of military aviation. Despite its incredible combat performance, the F-15 has proven to be a remarkably safe aircraft to fly. Over 5 decades of service, only about 125 US F-15s have been lost. Most of these losses were due to accidents during training or difficult flying conditions, not combat. This translates to a loss rate of less than 2 aircraft per 100,000 flight hours, an impressive safety record for a high-performance fighter jet. The F-15's combination of power, advanced technology, and proven combat success has made it a cornerstone of U.S. air power for decades. Its ability to control the skies and strike targets with precision has deterred potential enemies and played a crucial role in several conflicts. Even as newer, stealthier fighters like the F-22 and F-35 have entered service, the F-15 continues to be a vital part of the Air Force's fleet. While the F-15's combat record and capabilities have been impressive, even the best machines eventually need updates. As we move from discussing the Eagle's successes to its future, we'll explore how time and changing threats have led to the need for upgrades. The F-15's service record speaks volumes about its reliability and effectiveness. Over its long career, the jet has proven to be incredibly durable. Out of every 100,000 hours F-15s spend in the air, less than 2 aircraft are lost. This is a remarkable achievement for a high-performance fighter jet that often operates in demanding conditions. Most losses have been due to accidents during training or in challenging weather, not combat situations. This safety record has helped make the F-15 a trusted workhorse for the U.S. Air Force and other nations that fly it. Despite its success, the F-15 is facing a challenge it can't outmaneuver: age. Many F-15s in service today are several decades old. While they've been well maintained, these aircraft are reaching the end of their design service life. This aging process brings increased risks of structural problems and higher maintenance costs. Additionally, the basic design of the F-15, while still potent, is becoming outdated in some areas compared to the latest fighter jets from other countries. Another factor driving the need for upgrades is the rapid advancement of technology. Modern warfare increasingly relies on sophisticated electronics, sensors, and computer systems. While the F-15 has received some updates over the years, its core systems were designed in an era before smartphones and the internet. To remain effective on the modern battlefield, the F-15 needs significant upgrades to its radar, communications, and electronic warfare capabilities. Recognizing these challenges, the U.S. Air Force began seriously considering options for upgrading the F-15 fleet in 2018. They wanted a fighter that could carry more weapons, fly farther, and incorporate the latest technologies. However, developing an entirely new fighter jet from scratch would be extremely expensive and time-consuming. Instead, the Air Force decided to pursue an upgraded version of the F-15, which would become known as the F-15EX Eagle II. This approach allowed them to leverage the proven strengths of the F-15 design while incorporating modern technologies and capabilities. The decision to upgrade the F-15 rather than replace it entirely was influenced by several factors. The production of the advanced F-22 Raptor had ended earlier than planned, leaving a gap in the Air Force's fighter fleet. Meanwhile, the new F-35 Lightning II, while highly capable, was facing delays and couldn't be produced quickly enough to replace all the aging F-15s. By choosing to upgrade the F-15, the Air Force found a way to modernize a significant portion of its fighter force relatively quickly and cost-effectively. This strategy aims to keep the F-15 relevant and effective for decades to come. With the decision made to upgrade the F-15, the U.S. Air Force and Boeing, the company that now owns McDonnell Douglas, began the exciting process of designing the next generation of this legendary fighter. This new version, called the F-15EX Eagle II, would combine the best features of the original F-15 with cutting-edge technology. Let's explore how this new Eagle came to be and what makes it special. The development of the F-15EX began in earnest in 2018, when the Air Force outlined what they wanted in this new fighter. They asked Boeing to come up with designs that could carry more weapons, fly farther, and incorporate the latest aviation technologies. Boeing responded with two options: a single-seat version called the F-15CX and a two-seat version called the F-15EX. After careful consideration, the Air Force chose the two-seat F-15EX. This design allows the jet to be flown by either one pilot or a team of two, with the second person managing weapons and complex systems. One of the most significant improvements in the F-15EX is its increased firepower. The new jet can carry up to 22 air-to-air missiles, which is more than any other fighter in the U.S. inventory. It can also launch large hypersonic weapons up to 22 feet long. To put this in perspective, that's about as long as a small boat. This massive increase in weapon capacity means the F-15EX can engage more targets and stay in the fight longer than its predecessors. The F-15EX isn't just about carrying more weapons. It's also packed with advanced technology. It features a new electronic warfare system called the Eagle Passive Active Warning Survivability System, which helps protect the jet from enemy radars and missiles. The cockpit has been completely redesigned with large touchscreen displays, similar to what you might see in a modern car but much more advanced. The jet also has new fly-by-wire controls, which use computers to help the pilot fly more precisely and safely. Perhaps most impressive is the F-15EX's speed and range. Powered by two incredibly strong engines, each producing 29,500 pounds of thrust, the F-15EX can reach speeds of Mach 2.5, 2.5 times the speed of sound. This makes it one of the fastest fighter jets in the world. It can also fly farther than earlier F-15s, allowing it to protect larger areas or strike distant targets. Despite all these new features, the F-15EX is designed to be easier to maintain and less expensive to operate than many other modern fighters. The F-15EX represents a big leap forward in fighter technology while building on the proven design of the original F-15. By combining increased firepower, advanced electronics, and improved performance, the Eagle II aims to keep the F-15 at the forefront of air combat for decades to come. With the F-15EX Eagle II's design finalized, the next step was to bring this advanced fighter from the blueprint to reality. This process involves careful planning, precise manufacturing, and rigorous testing. Let's explore how the U.S. Air Force is acquiring these new jets and bringing them into service. The journey to acquire the F-15EX began in February 2019, when the Air Force officially launched the program. They plan to buy at least 144 of these new fighters to replace the aging F-15C/D fleet. The first order was for 8 aircraft, with plans to purchase at least 90 more in the coming years. This approach allows the Air Force to start using the new jets quickly while spreading the cost over several years. In July 2020, Boeing received a $1.2 billion contract to build the first batch of 8 F-15EX fighter jets. This was a significant milestone, marking the official start of production. The company wasted no time and quickly got to work. Just 7 months later, in February 2021, the first F-15EX took to the skies for its maiden flight. This quick turnaround from contract to first flight is impressive in the world of advanced fighter jets, where development can often take many years. The Air Force received its first F-15EX in March 2021, less than 2 years after the program began. This rapid delivery was possible because the F-15EX builds on the proven design of earlier F-15s, allowing Boeing to use existing production lines and processes. Since then, more F-15EXs have been delivered. As of mid-2023, 6 aircraft were at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida for testing and evaluation, while 2 operational jets were delivered to the Oregon Air National Guard. A major milestone was reached on July 2023 when the Air Force declared that the F-15EX had achieved initial operational capability. This means the new jet is now ready for combat operations if needed. While this achievement came about a year later than initially planned due to some production delays, it still represents a relatively quick deployment for a new fighter jet. Boeing is currently building about 3 F-15EXs every 2 months and plans to increase production to 2 per month by 2025. The F-15EX is already proving its worth in Air Force operations. General Kenneth Wilsbach, the head of Air Combat Command, praised the jet's capabilities, particularly its ability to carry large, powerful weapons over long distances. This makes the F-15EX a valuable asset for defending vast areas like the Pacific region. As more F-15EXs enter service, they will play a crucial role in the Air Force's strategy, working alongside stealth fighters like the F-22 and F-35 to maintain air superiority in potential future conflicts. As the F-15EX Eagle II proves its worth in the U.S. Air Force service, it's not just American pilots who are excited about this advanced fighter jet. The impressive capabilities of the F-15EX have caught the attention of air forces around the world. Let's explore how this American-made jet is generating international interest and what it means for global air power. The F-15 has a long history of international success. Over the years, countries like Japan, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and South Korea have flown various versions of the F-15. These nations have used the jet effectively in their air forces, often adapting it to meet their specific needs. Now, with the introduction of the F-15EX, many of these countries and others are showing keen interest in upgrading their fleets. Japan, a longtime F-15 operator, has been one of the first countries to express interest in the F-15EX. The Japanese Air Self-Defense Force has been using F-15J fighters, a version of the F-15 built under license in Japan, since the 1980s. Now they're looking at the F-15EX as a way to modernize their air defense capabilities. The advanced radar and increased weapon capacity of the F-15EX would be particularly useful for Japan, given its strategic location in East Asia. Israel, another experienced F-15 user, is also closely watching the F-15EX program. The Israeli Air Force has used F-15s extensively in combat operations and has even developed its specialized versions of the jet. The F-15X's advanced electronic warfare systems and ability to carry large weapons could be very appealing to Israel, which often needs to maintain air superiority in challenging environments. Other countries showing interest in the F-15EX include Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Singapore. These nations already operate earlier versions of the F-15 and see the EX model as a way to enhance their air power without the need for extensive retraining of pilots and maintenance crews. The F-15EX's combination of advanced technology and familiar design makes it an attractive option for air forces looking to modernize their fleets quickly and effectively. This international interest in the F-15EX is significant for several reasons. For the United States, selling the jet to allies helps strengthen military partnerships and can reduce the overall cost of the program through economies of scale. For the buying countries, the F-15X offers a way to acquire a top-tier fighter jet with proven capabilities. And for Boeing, international sales could mean extended production lines and increased revenue. As more countries evaluate and potentially purchase the F-15EX, this latest version of the Eagle may well continue the F-15's legacy as one of the most successful and widely used fighter jets in history. Thanks for watching. While you are still here, click on the link on your screen to check out another of our videos. See you there.